Have you ever looked at a system, plan that seems perfectly logical, designed for order and efficiency, and just watched it completely blow up in everyone's faces? It happens all the time. We build these systems to manage people, but so often, the very people they're supposed to manage end up breaking them. It's this fascinating puzzle you see everywhere, from the justice system to your own workplace. So what's really going on here? Let's dig in.
Okay, check out this ancient riddle about justice. I mean, it sounds completely backward, right? Why on earth would you ever punish the good person in a fight? It makes no sense. But stick with me here. The answer to this little puzzle, believe it or not, holds the key to understanding why so many of our modern, super logical systems fail so spectacularly. Whether it's in a courtroom or a corner office, we seem to be obsessed with this idea of command and control. We make rules, we set up procedures, we dish out punishments, all assuming that people are just going to act like predictable parts in a big machine. But here's the thing. People aren't cogs. The human element always shows up, and usually in ways we never, ever expect.
And this isn't just some abstract idea. You see it playing out all the time. Just think about it. Harsher prison sentences, which are supposed to scare people straight, can actually become a kind of badge of honor that drives more gang recruitment. Or in an office, really rigid rules don't create perfect, efficient employees. They just create people who've stopped caring. It can even be something as simple as the Census Bureau sending out so many reminders that people got overwhelmed and just threw them all out. In every single one of these cases, the attempt to force a behavior created the exact opposite result. Wild, right?
So that brings us right to the heart of the matter. If what we want is order and productivity and cooperation, why does cranking up the controls so often lead to chaos and resistance? Well, it turns out the answer is that for a long, long time, we've been using the wrong map to navigate human behavior.
The problem isn't where we're trying to go, it's the map we're using to get there. Our traditional map is built on a really flawed assumption that people are basically passive objects you can just manage. This whole command and control thing completely ignores a fundamental truth about human psychology. And here is the concept that just unlocks everything. It's called psychological reactance. It's such a powerful idea. Basically, it says that when people feel like their freedom is being limited or threatened, when they feel controlled, their automatic gut reaction is to push back. It's this deep, fundamental drive to say, hey, I'm in charge of me. And let's be clear, this isn't just people being difficult for the sake of it. It's a really deep-seated human response to feeling like your autonomy, your sense of self, is being taken away. So when you build a system that's based only on control, you're not creating order. You're basically throwing down a challenge. And it's just human nature to pick up that challenge and resist.
This comparison between two types of justice systems really shines a spotlight on the two different maps. The old map, retributive justice, is all about control. It asks one question: what law was broken? And its goal is punishment. But the new map, restorative justice, asks a totally different question: who was hurt here? And the goal isn't to inflict more pain, it's to actually heal relationships and repair the harm that was done. It's a completely different way of looking at the same problem.
And this same exact thing plays out at work too. When managers enforce silly, pointless rules, or they take credit for their team's ideas, they aren't creating order. They're creating something psychologists call learned helplessness. It's that feeling where employees start to think, you know what, why should I even bother trying if I have no control over the outcome anyway? And that's the moment they just check out. So if that old map of command and control is busted, what does the new territory look like? Well, it's a landscape that's built not on controlling people, but on actually understanding and tapping into our fundamental human needs. Now, a great guide for this new territory is a framework called ERG theory. It's actually pretty simple, but it's so powerful. It says that all of human motivation really boils down to just three core needs. First, you've got existence. That's the basics, right? Fair pay, a safe place to work. Then there's relatedness. That's our fundamental need to connect with other people, to belong. And finally, growth. That's our deep down drive to learn, to contribute, and to feel like we're making a difference.
And let's not just gloss over that second need, relatedness. This quote just hits so hard because it shows you how high the stakes really are. When people are shamed, when they're disconnected and isolated, that feeling doesn't just disappear. It can fester and turn into rage and sometimes even violence. This is why connection and belonging aren't just nice little perks. They are absolutely essential for a healthy society.
So, here's the big shift in thinking. The best systems, the ones that actually work, aren't about micromanaging and tight control. They're about creating environments that meet these deep human needs for connection, purpose, and growth. They succeed because they work with our nature, not against it.
Okay, so we have a new map, and it's based on human needs. Awesome. Now we need a compass. How do we actually use these insights to build better systems that really work for people, not just on them? This is the enforcement pyramid, and it's just a brilliant model for a smarter way forward. Now look at it. What's at the foundation? What's the biggest part at the bottom? It's not punishment, it's not sanctions. It's dialogue, persuasion, and trust. That is always your starting point. And here's the magic of how it works in the real world. You always start at the bottom of the pyramid. You assume people are acting in good faith, and you start with a conversation. You only climb up that pyramid to the harsher stuff, to the punishments, when trust and dialogue have completely failed. Control and force become the absolute last resort, not your first impulse.
And look, this stuff actually works. After the 3 Mile Island nuclear disaster, the entire industry realized their command and control rulebook wasn't enough. They shifted to focusing on people, on culture, on improving that sense of relatedness. Or, get this, there's the story of a hospital janitor who felt so trusted and empowered that he took it upon himself to create a mobile library for patients. He was tapping right into his own need for growth and purpose. This is what happens when you design for people.
And so, we come all the way back around to that strange little riddle from the beginning. Taking from the good man to give to the bad man, it was never really about punishment. It was a metaphor for restoring balance, for acknowledging the human needs of everyone involved. It shows us that the most effective systems don't see people as the problem to be controlled, they see people as the solution.
So that leaves us with one last question, and this one's for you to think about. Take a look at the systems in your own life, at your job, in your neighborhood, maybe even in your family. Are they built on a foundation of trust and empowerment? Or are they stuck at the very top of that pyramid, relying only on control and constantly wondering why things just keep going wrong?